On the Network Topology page, with the applicable device group open on the map, open the Provisioning Wizard. The Provisioning Wizard opens. The first page populates with the Carrier Ethernet service types by default. In the service type list, select the circuit that you are provisioning. In the Select Profile drop-down list, accept the default selection, which is blank. Note, when provisioning tasks include common sets of configurations that users provision on a regular basis, they can define those parameters in profiles to automate and expedite complex provisioning tasks. Then, users can apply a profile based on the circuit that they need to provision. In this case, you are configuring specific settings, so you do not select a profile. To continue, click Next. The Customer Service Details page opens. Beginning on this page, the wizard provides a Cancel button. Important note, use caution when canceling the provisioning process. When you cancel, the wizard automatically returns to the initial page with its default settings and discards any information that you have added. The system does not prompt or alert you that it will not retain your changes. In the Customer drop-down list, select the name of the customer who will use the service. In the Service Details section, to have the service operationally up when provisioning is complete, accept the default selection of the Activate checkbox. Type a name for the service and additional information about it. The description that you add here appears in the Circuit VC 360 View pop-up window details. The system populates the read-only service type field with the service that you are provisioning. To define the maximum transmission unit size of the service, in the Service MTU field, you can type the value in bytes. Important note, the service's maximum transmission unit, or MTU, size must be lower than or equal to the MTU size that you define on each user network interface, or UNI, which you can configure later in this task. Proper sizing helps ensure that the UNI can accommodate the traffic frame size. In this case, you accept the system default service size. In the Service OAM section, to enable and configure the Connectivity Fault Management, or CFM, components on the source and destination UNIs, accept the default selection of the Enable CFM checkbox. This action enables the system to generate continuity check messages, which support monitoring for connectivity failures. You also can change the time period that the system waits to generate each message. Important note, continuity check message transmissions cause management traffic on the network. Shorter time intervals increase network traffic, which can affect network performance. Next, you can use the fault management map to configure a probe that collects and reports specific measurements about the service. To configure a probe, on the toolbar, click Add. A row becomes available for editing. In the From drop-down list, select the UNI that initiates the probe. In the To drop-down list, select the destination UNI for the probe. To define the class of service requirement that the system uses to prioritize data packets between the UNIs, in the COS drop-down list, select the service level. To configure the measurements that the probe captures in support of fault monitoring, in the OAM profile drop-down list, select the monitoring level. To save the probe settings, click Save. With the settings saved, you configure a probe with the same settings to run from UNI Z to UNI A. Next, you can configure what you want to occur when provisioning is complete. Tip: Cisco recommends that you preview CLI code before deploying the configuration. This approach helps you to avoid unexpected results or operational issues. To preview the CLI code, in the Deployment Action drop-down list, select Preview. Now, you are ready to configure each of the units that will establish the connection. To continue, click Next. The Uni A page opens. In this case, you need to configure a new Uni, so you accept the default selection of the Create New Uni checkbox. You also want the service to be in an operationally up state when provisioning is complete, so you accept the default selection of the Activate checkbox. In the Uni name field, type a name for the Uni. In this case, the name indicates the device and interface on which you are provisioning the Uni. To indicate the device and interface that will support Uni A on the map, click the device icon. The system applies the A icon to and adds the Uni name above the device icon. The device drop-down list populates with the device name, and the list populates with the device interfaces that are available for provisioning. To indicate the interface that will support Uni A in the list, click the Interface option button. In the Uni description field, type additional information about the Uni. To define the maximum transmission unit size of a packet passing through the interface, in the MTU field, you can type the value in bytes. Important note, the Uni's maximum transmission unit, or MTU, size must be greater than, or equal to, the MTU that you defined for the service previously, to ensure that it can support the traffic frame size. In this case, you accept the default selection. To configure the method of bidirectional data transmission for the EPL, you select a setting in the duplex mode drop-down list. In this case, you accept the default selection of full duplex. To enable IEEE 803.1 AH link operation and maintenance, select the Enable Link OAM checkbox. Enabling Link OAM supports the reporting of events that relate to the state of the link between the Uni and its associated access switch. To enable the customer's access switch to collect information about the Uni to which it is connected, accept the default selection of the Enable Link Management checkbox. Tip: allowing the customer's access switch to collect Uni information can help the customer with inventory, connectivity, and critical event monitoring, and with troubleshooting. To configure the protocols that the service will allow to pass through the tunnel, in the Layer 2 Control Protocol Profile drop-down list, you accept the default profile selection. And, for the customer requirements in this case, you do not need to apply a Quality of Service profile. With the Uni A settings completed, you can configure Uni Z. To continue, click Next. On the Uni Z page, you again need to provision a new Uni because you are adding an EP line service. And this Uni also needs to be operationally up when provisioning is complete and the system discovers the Uni. As with Uni A, you add the Uni name. Indicate the device and interface that you need to provision, and add the Uni description. You configure the other Uni details, as you did on Uni A. To configure the same service details as on Uni A, select the Same as Uni A checkbox. With the Uni Z settings indicated, click Submit. The system performs the initial provisioning action. Because you selected Preview to review the CLI commands before deployment, the Service Summary Preview Config page opens. In the Devices drop-down list, you can select a device endpoint, and, in the CLI field, review the CLI commands that the system will send to that device. When you validate that the CLI commands are accurate, you can deploy the commands to the devices. To start the provisioning process, click Deploy. When the system has deployed the CLI commands, a system message opens in the wizard, indicating the deployment results. To continue, click Close. The system returns to the provisioning wizard, Start page. To continue, click Close. The provisioning wizard closes. In the circuit VCs list, the system lists the circuit with a gray missing icon, which indicates that the system has not yet added or discovered the circuit. As circuit provisioning progresses, the icon transitions to the partially discovered icon. When EPN Manager has discovered the circuit, the icon transitions to a green check mark. Finally, when the circuit is in a serviceability up state, which the system reports when it synchronizes the device inventory, the icon transitions to a green arrow icon. At this point, the process is complete and the circuit is available on the network. To review circuit details, click the information icon beside the circuit. The Circuit VC 360-degree view pop-up window opens. It reports the circuit status, statistics, and current alarms, if alarms are occurring. Note that, when reviewing the information in the pop-up window, the system begins reporting statistical data and alarms based on the system monitoring policies and reporting parameters that administrators or users can configure. This means that you might not see statistics, alarms, or other data immediately after device provisioning. The window also presents key relationships and details about the circuit endpoints. You can open other circuit views or test the circuit. You also can see the device connectivity. To see a connectivity overlay in the list, click the circuit entry. Reviewing the circuit overlay after provisioning helps you to ensure that, at a device level, provisioning has occurred as expected. You successfully provisioned an Ethernet private line virtual connection